Please welcome Jigar Sagar.
Thank you. Hey guys, what a lovely weather and what a great place to be. Thank you all for coming, right? I mean, cheers for yourselves. All right, so we're here talking to entrepreneurs, and I see some young faces in here and some seasoned investors, and just being someone who's seen both sides of the world, I'm here to share with you something that's really critical and important if you're here to grow your business and to scale them, right? First question, where do you think the next lot of unicorns are going to be built from? What part of the world? What region? Saudi, Middle East, UAE, Dubai. I mean, can someone say why? I mean, I love hearing the names. Money. Right, so we have someone saying it's going to be coming out of the region because of capital. Any other answers? Connection, so network. We're saying that we're going to grow the next lot of unicorns from the region because we have great connections.
No taxes.
No taxes. Okay, great. So financial incentives. Sorry, what was that? Regulations. Okay. That's my man. Collect your check just after this. Right, so I love all the answers, right? I mean, one thing is at least no one said Silicon Valley or the Europe or the London, and I think you all sort of know why. But the reality is, if you think back even into your recent history, we haven't had that many unicorns crop out of this region. And even during that period, we have had capital in abundance. We have had the network and the wasta existing even before I was born, right? So what is different this time? Why do we think it's going to come out of here? The reason why you're going to have the next crop of unicorns being built out of this region, specifically UAE, is because of the vision and the passion and the leadership. This is a place where people actually care about creating unicorns. They care about, curating events like this one so that money can be raised, entrepreneurship can flourish, and people like you can have a great time too, right, while at it. Let me share a story with you. I mean, this is a story from 2010, if I'm not mistaken. I met this person, a young bloke who was a founder trying to raise some money, but his first impression wasn't the one of a polished person, right? He was a bit scruffy, wasn't really dressed to the occasion, had a school backpack on, and unfortunately for me, I was too quick to judge the appearance. And then he opened his mouth. I mean, his English wasn't best, right? I mean, the language skills weren't the best, the communication skills weren't the best. And that was, again, a downer. And I mean, in hindsight, I can realize and I understand that was my flaw, not his. When I asked him this question, what is it that you're doing? And what happens, right, if your business didn't exist? His response was a very simple one. His response was, I'm bringing something to the market that's going to revolutionize the way small and medium-sized businesses process payments. Simple. He exactly knew why he was in that room and why he was raising funds and why he was doing that business. Didn't know the right words, but had the right why. I mean, I'm not going to name the business, but that business in today's day and age processes over $1 billion per month in payments. And it was homegrown from here too. So when you talk about UAE, right, it's no longer about for the future, in the future, and we hear about future foundations and things like that. And I'm someone who truly believes the future is now. If you think about it, we have the national strategy for AI, we have the national strategies for fintech, sustainability. We're no longer just designing smart cities, correct? We're actually building them. Look around you. I mean, a lot of construction still going on. We get news about bigger malls being built and smarter malls and smarter communities. And we've always had talent. How many of you are basically immigrants? How many of you are non-Emiratis? Raise your hands. Okay, I see a lot of people not raising their hands. I want to see you in your dish dash next time. So each and every one of you has a talent in you, right? It's whether you realize it or not. You're amazing people, you're smart people, you're intelligent people. Don't let anyone else say anything otherwise. It's for you to just identify what you're great at and what you're awesome at. So we've always had good and talented people. And then we talk about capital. It's been in existence in this market for a while. I mean, way before a lot of you and me were born. When you think about it, oil wasn't something that was founded just recently. It isn't the first time that we have a migration of high net worth individuals flying into UAE. I mean, we all read the news. Oh, this many high net worth individuals flew in from London to Dubai just this year. But that's the recent story. I have been hearing such stories from eternity, from the time I was born, whether they were people who were coming in from the subcontinent, whether they were the people who were coming in from London, Russia, Ukraine, Syria, Lebanon. Anytime and every time there has been a crisis in the world, this has been the safe haven. And usually what happens is those people with money are the ones who are able to exit wherever there's a crisis. So, and they bring with them that capital, right? So we've always had capital in abundance out here. Yet, there's a problem. So many founders with the right vision, ample capital available, a lot of wasta been in existence. So the network game has been strong out here from eternity. Yet, so many startups fail. Have you ever wondered why? Was it a bad business idea or was it something else? The challenge is in today's day and age, a lot of people are actually starting a business, one, maybe just to earn money, but that isn't usually the best reason to do that. And second is they're following a fad or a fashion. Who remembers Labubu, right? I mean, how many such fads come and go? So the problem is a lot of businesses are also being built with an expectation of valuation instead of truly creating a value. When your why isn't clear, you end up creating a fad, a fashion. And sometimes you're going to fail. And unfortunately, when it comes to startups, 80% of startups that don't have a strong why fail within the first 6 months. Forget about even getting an anniversary. So what I want to hit on is, you spoke about capital. You have investors such as myself and others in this room today, right? If you have a good business idea, a good business vision, you could raise your capital in this event. It's not going to be difficult as long as you know what you're doing. The problem is sometimes some people, they just raise too little or too fast. And then when it comes to talent, I mean, look around you. Such talented people, right? Each and every one of you has a unique talent that you can bring to the table. So what do businesses do? Unfortunately, they hire too little to save the money, or maybe sometimes they just don't hire enough people, right, with the right skill sets because they're stingy. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you don't realize what entrepreneurship is about. It's not about being stingy, it's about actually investing to launch a business. But the bigger problem is clarity. Why are you here? Each and every one of you who's come to this event needs to question yourself. Why are you here? Why wouldn't you rather be somewhere else? So when you launch a business, why are you doing it? It's that clarity, that purpose. Is that business truly solving a problem? Is it meeting an unmet need or a desire? Great. If not, go back to the drawing board and figure out, why are you in that business? So we spoke about the importance of, building a business with the need to have a true purpose, and that purpose being solving a problem, meeting an unmet need, meeting a desire. And more often than not, people also get confused. They think they have to invent. I mean, I can't remember the last time something was truly invented. I mean, it's always usually an innovation and an iteration on the back of something that already exists, right? Just make your product better, faster, more efficient, cheaper. You can differentiate your product in many shapes and forms. At the end of the day, it's about product differentiation when it comes to solving a problem. It's not necessary that everyone's not an Einstein here, and we all don't have that IQ, right? I mean, you can't be a subject matter expert on everything. Not each and every one of you, including myself, can build rocket ships and run an ice cream factory. So that's the reality. But just don't over confuse yourselves. What you can do is build with purpose. And I'm going to share with you some very simple tricks of how to build with purpose, right? One, start with raising money with a purpose. Right, anyone over here with a business idea looking for funds, raise your hands. Right, a few of you. What if I write you a check of $1 million right now? Would you want to take it? I mean, I see a lot of you nodding yes. The answer is you shouldn't. The first thing you should have asked is, are you aligned with my vision? It's easy to grab that check when it's in front of you, especially when it's a big fat check. But what's important is that you first, as a founder, align with your investors when it comes to your beliefs. If you don't align with your investors on your beliefs, what you've done is you've raised money. What do you think you need to raise? Is it money or corporate ambassadors? Do you want an investor who writes you a check and does not even remember your name? Or do you want an investor who basically goes out and vouches and creates a movement for you? And that's where the importance of raising with purpose comes into play. You raise with a purpose to create a movement. You raise with a purpose to gain that momentum for your business that otherwise you wouldn't have gotten just on the back of cash. Second, the boring stuff. Oh God. Build systems. Can't say this enough. Yes, it's boring. It's boring to write SOPs. It's boring to have legal contracts. It's boring to have systems in place and to have to follow it. But guess what? Without those systems in place, your business ain't going to scale from 3 to 10 people. How do you expect it to go from 10 to 100? How many of you over here, as a part of a startup journey, use systems? What business are you in? Architecture. So when it comes to systemizing, what's the stage of your business right now? Is it an early stage or is it a startup?
Startup, but yes, we have to have that scientist. So when the project comes, we know is going to do the project from each part. So when the project comes, we know which guy is going to do the project. It is automatically it comes, and the process after this guy whom. So finally, who deliver the project?
Okay, thank you. So here you go, some intelligence. How many of you are still using Excel when it comes to business? Raise your hand. Right. We have some dinosaurs here, just FYI. They raise their hands. It's not your fault, right? It is unfortunately the mindset that digitizing a business is expensive. It's unfortunately the mindset that you need to spend a lot of money to bring a process into your business. The truth is, it's actually time consuming, but not necessarily cash consuming. But if you invest that time and energy in creating a process from early on, you will realize that you will be able to scale that business so much faster because you won't have to depend on interfering and micromanaging when you're scaling, right? So build those CRMs, build those dashboards. It's really, really important for you to have a process in place. How many of you can relate to that picture? Just raise your hand if you know where that image is from. Wow, a lot of youngsters in here. So raise your hand if you don't know where this image is from. Okay, we're going to make you watch Rocky. Eye of the Tiger, right? And it's all about storytelling. So I've recently just done a TV show which is out on OSN called The Final Pitch Dubai, where we had founders come and pitch their business ideas to us, where we sort of went through the journey of mentoring them and helping them fine-tune their pitches. And at the finale of the show, we go in and actually invest in the ones we like. One thing that emerged out of that exercise with a lot of founders was, unfortunately, they start their story with the numbers. Founders look for numbers, absolutely. But what they look for even more in today's day and age is, what's your story? Why are you running this business? So if you run an architecture firm, the question isn't that I'm running an architecture firm because I had an education in it. That's not the story. The story is why you. Start your pitch decks with what problem are you solving and why are you solving that problem? Why do you think you have to take the burden of the planet Earth to solve that problem for the rest of the community and society? That's the story. That's the emotion that a founder needs to be able to translate to an investor. That's the story that resonates. That's the story that creates a cult. That's the story that creates a movement. That's the story that's going to be able to create a unicorn out of what you're building. Because each and every one of you who is starting a business or in a business want customers. And you're not going to get customers just by marketing. The best form of marketing is actually getting a movement started for people believing in your vision, your idea, and you. So as a founder, no one else is going to do that for you, no matter how great your marketing department is. It will boil down to you doing it, of creating that story of why you. Why Elon Musk, right? Why Steve Jobs? Why Bill Gates? We think of these individuals even before we think of the corporation. And that's because they started with a story. Why them? And why did they feel like they were responsible for solving that problem? I mean, let me tell you a little bit from a personal experience, right? Very recently, out of many businesses that we operate and run, there's a tech company that we run, which is basically got to do with government services. And about 3 years ago, the business is doing great. We're smashing the numbers. We're scaling 10x, even in terms of the size, revenues, everything, year on year. So from the surface, anyone looking into the business feels like, oh my God, this is going great. But I know from within that as a part of that scale up, somewhere I was stretched, I was unhappy because I was losing the purpose. I was being stretched between, do I scale or do I stay true to the purpose? And I promise you, each and every one of you will have to go through the same question in your line of work, in your business, in your career, if not once, many a times. And that's where the difficult answer has to come out. Are you going to stay true to your purpose, or are you just going to look to scale for the sake of scaling? I did what was a right thing to do, which was took a pause, analyzed the business, reset. And today, the business has scaled even more than where it was, because we stayed true to the purpose, we stayed true to the why, we stayed true to the clarity of why did we begin that business in the first place, what problem were we solving truly. And that is what's important when you want to scale. Don't get fixated with the idea of scaling for the sake of scaling. Make sure that you stay true to your purpose. So on a parting note, just from a show of hands out here, anyone who's had to scale a business and has had an exit? Or anyone who's had to scale a business? Okay, so raise your hands if you have started a business even once in your life. Right. Next time, when you walk into your office or, into that mental space of doing a business, ask yourself this simple question. Why are you running that business? Is it to create a valuation or is it to create value? Because if you want your business to be one of those businesses that are going to crop out of the Middle East, out of the UAE, to be the next unicorn, you will have to build for value and not for valuation. Thank you.